to see all these gorgeous faces. Thank you so much for coming. I have to say, a couple of weeks ago when I first started writing this talk, I found myself split in two. There was one part of me that was so intent on having everything written out perfectly, on having PowerPoint slides and pictures and you name it, everything, bam, 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 very forceful. And there's another part of me that was just like, whoa, hold up. Why don't we just go with the flow and rock up and see what happens? And I was like, I've got this inner dance happening inside of me, and I realised that was this dance between my inner masculine and feminine. And I thought the only way I'm going to make this work tonight is if I marry those and join them together and find a harmonious balance. So that's what I intend on doing, finding a harmonious feminine balance, as I trust you will tonight. So your body is feminine and it should be treated as so, and that is why you need a safe and secure space to nurture your creations and awaken as your most empowered self. Your life force, sexual or Shakti energy. Anyone ever heard of Shakti energy? Thank you. This is what we're talking about, okay? This is divine embodiment. This is the movement that comes through our bodies. This is what keeps us breathing, moving, talking, creating, all of the above. And you have more access to this than you realise. When you're conscious, especially. So when we're shut down and closed off and disconnected, you don't have that same connection, that same force within you, and you aren't able to use it. But when you are in divine flow, in your Yoni heart and mind, you are connected. You're able to create as a divinely empowered woman. So I come from the space of belief that what you invite, you ignite. So I want us to have a moment right now and close our eyes, if you're going to be brave with me. And think about what you want to invite tonight into this space just for you. What do you want to invite to ignite in your life? So I want you to take a deep breath in and let it out. And as you let it out, I want you to draw your belly button to your spine. That's right, bring your tummy in. Inhale, let your belly come out and be full like the moon. Exhale, draw that belly to your spine. So ask yourself now, what do I want to invite? Why did I come here tonight? Do I want to invite some new awareness? Do I want to invite a connection to my divine, empowered self? Do I have no idea why I'm here yet, but I'm completely open to wherever this path will lead me? When you're ready, slowly come back to me. So I want to officially welcome you now to the Divinely Empowered Woman. As Dezo introduced you, my name is Elise Carr and I am the woman behind Stellar Muse, and it's a real honour to have each of you here tonight giving up your time to come and listen to me, and I trust take something away that may have a shift inside of you. We're going to be focusing on the Yoni heart-mind connection, that connection inside of us. Now that breathing we just did, if we took that to the next level, we'd be breathing by cycling the energy around us. From the energy down here in our Yoni, breathing the energy up our spine, to the top of our head, back to the front, our third eye, our mind, into our heart and back down to our Yoni. This is the circuitry of energy that I want to be talking to you about tonight. Okay? So we're going to start with the Yoni. To get into that space, I'm going to ask you once again to close your eyes. And put your hands on your Yoni. Your Yoni is your entire female sexual reproductive area. For you, your hands may be on your uterus, on your ovaries, on your vulva. That's right, ladies. We're getting intimate here. It's just you and me and a few others around us. Okay? So wherever it feels comfy for you. And ladies, if you do not have a uterus anymore or you do not have ovaries, physically, you still have that energy in that space. So wherever your hands are drawn, place them there, close your eyes. Now we're going to do something crazy right now. We're going to breathe through our yoni. Yes, through your vagina. So imagine you've got a little nose or a little mouth down there just for a moment. It's your own, don't worry. Okay? I want you to imagine you're going to be breathing in energy, light, oxygen, whatever feels right, a beautiful colour into that space, into your womb, into the heart of your yoni. So we're going to take a deep breath in right now. Deep breath in into that space. Hold it there for a moment. Perhaps you're imagining a beautiful colour, a vibrant orange or gold. And when you're ready, exhale. And let that energy go out into the earth. I like that, I heard it, Okay, when you're ready, come back to me. Come back to me. Are we in our yoni space now? I see a few more smiles and less of this, I like that. This is nice, okay? Let's lighten up, shall we? Cool. So, our sexual reproductive area is our yoni. We've all got that now? Cool? No confusion? This area is also about sex, sexuality, money, creation. And when I say creation, I'm not just talking about creating beautiful new life in the form of a baby. I'm also talking about beautiful life as in your creations that you bring into the world in every capacity. If you're in corporate, perhaps it's putting together your next amazing board meeting. Perhaps you're going to be making an amazing banquet for a group of family and friends. Anything in that capacity is creation, and you are birthing that through this creative space right here. And the other thing about this amazing space is that it's our powerhouse. As women, this is our divine, creative powerhouse. And we often, as women, give power away right from here. And we do that by saying yes to everyone else and no to ourselves. Anyone relate to that? Do you ever, want to really say, no, it's not going to happen, I want to put me first, and actually I want to do this, this and this. But instead you're like, sure, I'll do that, I'll be there. Yes? Awesome. I reckon everyone's hand should be up because I definitely don't think anyone honours themselves 24/7. Now I want to talk about the energetic, emotional and physical level of this area. Energetically, giving our power away actually suppresses toxins. Now this sounds a bit crazy, but that's what we do. That energy starts as energy, becomes emotions, becomes physical issues. So think of toxins right here. Now these toxins build up after neglect, fear, abuse, anything that affects you in a negative capacity. We store it down here. How do we get rid of this? We need to excavate the memory of these experiences that are held in our cells. The cells of our very body holds these. What we need to do is turn it into forgiveness and love by connecting to our heart. Please notice the direct yoni heart connection kicking in right here. Coming from loving energy. So emotionally, we're suppressing our power. Because it's like a system short-circuiting. When you are not in touch with this power down here and you are saying yes, yes, yes to everyone else and no to yourself, and you've got trauma and all these things that have happened to you and you're not dealing with it, right down here, you're cutting yourself off. You're not opening your heart. This is a disconnect. And most likely a lot is happening up here and you're thinking and analysing. On a physical level, this can lead to such things as painful periods, or cysts. Just as an example, there's many other things that I'll mention as well that can happen down here. When that energy is free-flowing, and I'm talking about free-flowing like a river. You know a river? Beautiful, clear, free-flowing water. Imagine that. That's our circuit when it's working as it's meant to. But when it's toxic and stuck down here, it's kind of like a pond with all those little nasty bits on top. Stagnant water. That's the difference between beautiful flowing and stagnant, scummy pond water. Not a big fan of that, not sure about you. So, leading to such things as painful periods and cysts because the energy isn't flowing. And what's happening when the energy isn't flowing? Nothing's moving. We're not able to create, we're not able to birth what it is we want to birth, whether it is a baby, whether it is a new job, whether it's perhaps amazing painting. Whatever that is, it can't come forth from this second energy centre. And a big issue with us on a physical level is disempowerment. And often for women, that disempowerment is from sexual abuse. And I can relate to this because from the age of 5, I was first sexually abused. And this carried on for a few years. And that's when my body first learnt to shut down my divine, feminine, empowered self. Because I wasn't saying no. My body was saying no, but I couldn't get it up. I had suppressed myself. And this happened from 5 right up pretty much to probably my mid-20s, in all different capacities. Letting people step over that line, verbally, physically, emotionally. And every single time this happened, normally from a man, I was putting that down here. Suppressing, suppressing, suppressing. I wasn't strong enough to say no in some capacity. And all these traumas were down here. And I can guarantee you, unless you've excavated the area, you will have traumas down here. Whether it's from neglect or abuse, whether it's from a horrible breakup or a relationship breaking down that may or may not have been with a man or whatever. All these traumas we store down here. And not only on the body level, but they stay with us as memories in ourselves. So without processing and removing these traumas through letting go, forgiveness, a pretty powerful F word, if I can be so blatant to say, reclaiming our power, without doing these things, they can manifest as disempowerment in our mind, as emotional detachment, and physical issues. Physical issues like painful periods or serious abdominal pains, even lower digestion issues, IBS, painful sex, a disconnection from your yoni entirely, thinking your vulva is ugly, not wanting to be touched or touch others, not wanting to explore this side of you, and in general just having no emotional connection with your second energy house. When a woman's yoni is targeted, her mind is also affected. And she is disempowered on an energetic, emotional, physical level. You're completely out of balance and out of harmony, out of sync. And I'm sure sometimes in some circumstances you can definitely relate to this, that you don't feel yourself, you feel out of sorts, something's not right. You feel it here, you feel it here, you feel it here. So this is not only true for each of us as individuals, but as women as a collective. Because we carry a collective memory. The way women have been treated throughout the ages. And hence, after centuries of suppression and mutilation and disregard of the divine feminine, we are now at a point where humanity is at dire straits. And the earth, Mother Earth, feminine, divinely feminine I may say, is demanding that we step up and that we reawaken as our divinely empowered women selves that we were born to be. Because it starts with each of you, it starts with me, awakening this within us. So attacking the yoni, anything down here, suppresses, numbs, and takes away our power. And I experienced this firsthand because on the night of my 24th birthday, I was beside the great love of my life at the time. And we're having a conversation about him prospectively being a doctor. And he turned and looked at me and he said that if he was a doctor, I'd fix your vagina. And at the time, I didn't understand that impact. I felt it. Everything kind of closed off, but I didn't say anything really. It was my birthday. We were going to my birthday party. I love this man. I flew to the other side of the world to be with this man. 7 years later, when I was studying this Yoni Sexuality Divine Feminine work with Stella Muse, and I gave myself a guided regression, I was told to confront whatever trauma was still down here in my second chakra. And I thought, wow, what could I possibly have down here? I'm not a victim. I worked through this sexual abuse, this neglect, this abandonment, you name it, right up to, my early 20s. when this vivid image came back to me and I was thrown back on that street in Eastern Europe and the whole thing hit me in the face and I started to cry. And it was actually tears of relief. Because I finally realised that it was actually a gift that he gave me. Because that gift has now allowed me to stand here, and it allowed me more than anything to take back my power. Before that, I didn't even realise I was giving it away to someone I don't even see anymore on the other side of the world, giving this power away because energetically and emotionally there was still a connection between us. And physically internalised in my cells, in the cells of my yoni, there was still that hanging on to this toxic moment that happened 7 years prior at the time. So attacking the yoni blocks, suppresses, and numbs your power to your yoni, your heart, and your mind. And this is the ultimate disempowerment of women. You think to yourself, has anything ever happened to you? Any comment? Anything? Or how often do you hear derogatory comments about women's vaginas? It's an attack at us to disempower us because you feel it. You do feel that on an emotional, a physical, and a spiritual connection, an energetic connection. Even if you may not acknowledge it at the time, like I didn't, I just went along processing right up here. It's there. Because as a woman, you can't just disconnect the yoni, heart, mind connection. Neurologically, the yoni mind, the vagina brain, as it's sometimes termed by such amazing women as Naomi Wolf, read Vagina if you haven't. This connection is actually neurological. We physically have a connection between our yoni, vagina, mind, brain. And in the middle of that, as I explained, our beautiful feedback loop is our heart. You attack one area, you disempower and block off the entire circuitry. You're short-circuiting yourself. Is this making sense? Awesome. So this is why we need to feel safe and not have bad stresses in order to open up and relax the yoni and relax our heart and relax our mind on an energetic, emotional and physical levels. And I'll keep repeating this because we forget that there are those three levels to us as human beings, a soul in a human body. This is how the human body works on those different levels. So fundamentally, from an energetic perspective, this affects your ability to turn on, to get turned on. And I'm not just talking about sexually. I mean turned on, like turning on all your lights. Once again, disempowering, you're chopping yourself off, essentially. Because your life force energy, your Shakti energy is your sexual energy. And when that gets shut down, you're not open for business like a divinely empowered woman. You're just kind of more robot, like a puppet. So this is the starting point for your personal divine empowerment, is working down here. When it comes to holding stress and trauma, scientific studies support that activating different parts of your yoni activates different emotions within our bodies, especially in how the brain functions. Isn't that amazing? Activating here, activates here. So I've got a little exercise. We won't do it now. You can do it tonight when you get home. It's called disarming the yoni. You need this and a yoni. Not unlike massaging. You know, you get tight shoulders, that tight neck, and you know when you work that spot, you know, over and over, or someone maybe helps you and is deliciously giving you their time and love to work through that for you. You're kind of releasing that tension, releasing the knots. Disarming the yoni is not too different. When you're comfortable and relaxed and happy, if you want to and choose to, you can work around your own vaginal walls, massaging those parts. Oh, I saw that eye roll. It's crazy, isn't it? Are you with me here? You're brave enough to do it? Massaging those parts of your yoni, because some parts will be more tender than others. You might actually notice that some parts might be slightly painful. Other parts might feel fabulous. Good on you. But those parts that are slightly painful, I urge you to work through that. And keep going gently. Listen to your body. Do I need to press harder, softer, whatever it is? Listen to your body. Explore you. What an amazing creation you have down here. It's quite exciting, really. It's opening up a whole new world. The other thing is the cervix. The cervix specifically in a woman controls a lot of trauma. It's quite a little trauma station, okay? If you can work towards that part, or you have a partner who you love and trust and will happily, deeply penetrate you to reach that part, disarmoring, I know it's crazy, isn't it? Disarmoring that can give you a whole new perspective on your sexuality, on your power. Food for thought. I'd love to know if anyone actually does follow through with that. If you want to drop me a little email, don't need details, just let me know. I went ahead with it. Just out of interest before we proceed, was anyone game enough tonight not to wear a bra or knickers like suggested on the flyer? Anyone who just didn't wear a bra? Thank you. Anyone who just didn't wear knickers? The woman stands alone. Okay. So ignoring your body talking to you and continuing to suppress your divine feminine can lead to something like cysts, as an example. And I had this. I had a cyst on my ovary, my left ovary actually. The left part of your body, ironically enough, is feminine. The right side is masculine. And this cyst started building and developing, growing when I was modelling internationally. And I came to a crossroads in my life. Do I pursue this? Or do I come home to this man that I love, the one that offered to fix my yoni, bless? It was a tough call. International modelling career, come back to this man who clearly really loves me and all of my beautiful yoni parts. So I didn't do what I wanted to do. I suppressed my screaming yes and said, okay, I'll come home. Just give me a week. I probably had a little less than a week. I came home and I was rushed to hospital and this cyst ruptured, sending all these toxins through my body. Toxins, remember toxins? It got to the physical level. I ignored the energy of something not right. I ignored my emotions of going, whoa, what are you doing? You're not listening to yourself. So it hit critical mass. My body was screaming at me to go, whoa, what's going on? Give me some attention here, woman. Get in touch with your body, woman. So these toxins were going through me, and not only was this going on, but my heart stopped. I flatlined. And then it started again on its own accord. This happened 4 times. My heart stopped 4 times. How does that not support what we're talking about between the yoni-heart connection? I was very fortunate that I was working out like a fiend and I was very healthy, and my cardiologist said, you are disgustingly healthy. Thank goodness my heart started again on its own. But my body had to get my attention. And the gift of that amazing experience was that, okay, I stopped modelling at that point, but I was able to start writing my first book and start diving into Stellar Muse. I wouldn't be here now if that hadn't have happened, really. But years of suppressing my divine feminine self led to this physical stage. Eventually the rupturing, eventually the heart stopping 4 times, because I was silencing myself. I wasn't honouring who I was, where I came from. None of that. I was living for other people, trying to fit into the model niche, the girlfriend niche, all these. I'm like, whoa, hi, where does Elise fit into this? What about me? I didn't even allow myself to get angry. I just kind of swallowed it, pushing these toxins further down to my little cesspool, building down here. When you don't acknowledge the many versions of yourself, this is something that can happen. I wasn't saying yes to me, I was just saying yes to everyone else. And this is an extreme example, granted, but this is what can happen if you continue saying yes to everyone else and not saying yes to you. So how did I heal myself? Yoni worship, number 1. I did start loving this space, and that was a challenge. I didn't come out of the womb loving my yoni, don't worry about that. For 7 years I just didn't even realise, there was a problem. There wasn't a problem, my yoni's perfect, just like yours. But I started worshipping my yoni, massaging it, loving my vulva, because vulvas are like noses and elbows. They're all individual and different. There are no vulvas that need fixing, for the record. And trust me, I have seen a lot in doing my research for my yoni book. Just Picturing a lot of Yonis right now. And the regression. The regression was the most powerful thing that I could have done for myself. Going back, realising how long I'd been carrying this sack inside myself and how much energy I was letting run out of me. I was just never functioning on full volume, and it was insane to finally get that back. I was like a new woman. I swear it was like a rebirth. To go, whoa, I have this power. This is what I can do. And I had to forgive him. And I had to forgive myself. And I wasn't just like, okay, I forgive you. I had to really come from that heart space and genuinely forgive that comment, that situation, what passed between our two souls, forgive myself for holding on to it. And in forgiving, I was shifting the power. I was disconnecting from giving any more to that memory that was still here in my own body. And this is the thing, it's the biography of your life, that event of your life that manages to somehow place itself right down here in your biology. Your biography is in your biology. Are you with me on that one? I won't go into human anatomy too far beyond that. So the regression shifted the power. It disconnected me from giving it away. Forgiving him, forgiving myself, coming from love and seeing the gift was the full spectrum of healing. You can't just cut cords and think it's going to be all right. Every single one of us is wired differently though. So what works for you won't work the same for you, won't work the same for your girlfriends as it did for me. But one thing I can tell you is that all the women that have come to me since for these regressions have walked out with a life-changing shift, a new sense of empowerment within themselves that came from that. It's a really powerful way to work through the toxins that are down here. So a divinely empowered woman connects with her yoni through love, through reverence, through massage, through disarmoring. Because not doing this, not reawakening, not healing, not reconnecting with your yoni just perpetuates carrying of trauma and a separation from yourself. You're actually separating yourself. It's like drawing a country line and saying, well, this part's this country, this part's this country. It's just insane, isn't it? Don't all shout at me at once. It's overbearing, ladies. Separating yourself like this, separating yourself from this place of potent creation, your yoni, is a waste. It's a waste of who you are. It's a waste of why you're here. Don't do that to yourselves. The other thing is that when you start honouring your yoni in whatever way feels right for you, this way, whatever, you're going to start tapping into that energy and you're going to start radiating it out. You're going to start noticing the flow as it comes up. And when you start doing this, you will notice that you walk into the room slightly different. That when you converse with people, it's slightly different. That when you want to say no, you can. And you start honouring yourself. This may sound strange to some of you, but once again, try a few things and let me know how you go. You'll be radiating if you do. And just another little empowering tidbit, in case you're just after another one. Are you aware that your G-spot, that beautiful little spongy, kind of slightly rough part, if you haven't explored it yet, find that, number one. And your clitoris, which I'm positive you all know where that is, if you stimulate both those points at the same time, you will be stimulating pretty much the north and south pole of the same connection. We don't realise this, but it actually is the same connection. And once again, as we've already said, connects directly to your mind. You can have an amazing rush of energy come through your entire body. And I'm not just talking about having an orgasm or a climax, which is just a lovely little addition. But that, awakening yourself on that level, while you're doing some breathing perhaps, is a magical little taster of what can come if you want to explore this part of your sexuality.